Okay folks, welcome back once again to The Long Dark, and it has been a while, I have to be completely honest with you. It's been, oh god, how long has it been since I last recorded? A couple of weeks, if I'm completely honest with you. Basically I've just got so much going on at the moment that I'm just sort of struggling to find the time to do anything. But we are back here in The Long Dark, and we're going to have a quick sort of nosy around and carry on with our Hopeless Rescue Challenge. So this is part number 3. We are in the caves in the transition area out of the Carter Hydro Dam towards Pleasant Valley. So we're kind of heading towards Pleasant Valley. Our current situation, we've got 5 days left to complete this challenge. We are warm, we're a little bit tired but not too bad, we're a little bit thirsty, we're a little bit hungry, but we're not too bad. And we have 9 hours of daylight left. So we're going to make a move towards Pleasant Valley. So let's pick up our bedroll. And indeed, I've already looted that, don't need to do that. Just noticed some gloves down here, so I'm going to take those. And let's just have a quick look. I'm still trying to get the hang of this new menu system. Let's just have a look at our clothing. I'm so far behind, I have to be completely honest. Okay, I'm going to drop that. I think they're the ones I just picked up, but I'm going to drop them. Okay, we've searched our corpse. Okay, so we need to carry on. Oops, hang on a minute, I am encumbered. Just need to sort that out. I'm 6 kilos encumbered. Right, what can I get rid of to help me with that problem? Let's get rid of one of these sewing kits. Let's get rid of some of these. This is an unusual one. Get rid of some of these matches. I'm going to drop a few of these flares. I really don't want to drop my rifle because that's pretty much the only thing I've got weapon-wise. Oh, we've got quite a bit of meat actually, so we can probably go ahead and eat some of this. That's only a small piece. Let's go and eat another piece. We might as well drink as well. Okay, so we're still slightly over, but we're not quite so bad now. Okay, we're just going to have to go with that and hope that we can sort ourselves out. So, it's been quite a long time since I've been through this way, if I'm completely honest, and I've got to try and remember which way to go. We've got to go up there, haven't we? So, let's carry on. Yeah, it has been a couple of weeks since I last played The Long Dark. I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4 and doing a lot of stuff away from the computer. Let's get this lantern lit so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to fall off this ledge. So I've really just been struggling quite a lot for time. It literally is just struggling for time to be able to come along and do these recordings, because it does take a bit of time. It takes a bit of time to edit them as well. Long Dark's not so bad. Fallout 4 takes a little bit of time. Kerbal Space Program takes forever, which is why I haven't done any of that recently, which I really do want to get back into, but it's just finding the time. So, let's keep on going. Okay, so we're now going to leave the cave, and we're going to head back out into Pleasant Valley, which is where we should be. So then we just need to get ourselves across Pleasant Valley, and probably to the farmstead. We'll aim for the farmstead, so let's get this extinguished. We don't need that, and we might as well get rid of it. Now, I always get a bit lost at this point. Deer over there. I probably want to be heading that way, so I'm going to drop down. Oh, I've got 2 ways I can go, but I'm pretty sure the bear. That's not a good thing. Oh no! Hang on a minute. Let's see if we can sort that out. Risk of intestinal parasites is 4%. I'd forgotten about that. That's a new addition in the last update, is that if you eat meat from carnivores, aka the bears and the wolves, you do get this risk of these parasites, which obviously will degrade your health. So you can't eat too much of it. So that actually is a bit of a game changer, because it kind of stops the tactic of bringing down a bear and stocking up on bear meat and that keeping you going for ever and a day. Now you can't really do that, so that is a bit of a game changer on the long survival games. Obviously that's not what we're doing here, but when I play the next survival long play, got to bear that one in mind. Weather conditions are not actually too bad. It feels like -7. We're actually pretty good at the moment. It's a bit windy. I have to be honest with you, but the volume I've got the volume in my earpieces is a bit loud. But I don't really want to stop and turn it down, so because I wear headphones, obviously, so we don't get feedback on the microphone from the speakers. But it's got the volume turned up a bit high. So if I'm shouting, I do apologise. Right, okay, so we are at one of the bridges. And we're going to drop down onto the water, because it's the easiest way to follow and get ourselves where we need to be going. Is to drop down onto the water. I'll try not to break my limbs again like I did last time. Well, I have a feeling that might happen. No, we're alright. So let's go this way. And this should take us across to the farmstead. We should go under, I think it's Heartbreak Bridge that we go under. I'll try and stay. Probably actually better off over this side. Be a bit more sheltered, I think. Yep. With the wind blowing right to left. Yeah, so obviously there's been a lot of work, a lot of things going on with the Long Dark. I've read the, there's been an update on the roadmap for sandbox updates. That came on the 2nd of June, today's the 11th of June. So it's like just over a week ago. And there's some pretty interesting updates potentially coming in the June update. And as they have said, it is a work in progress kind of thing, it's aspirational. They might not get everything into the update, but there's some pretty interesting things appearing in the sandbox update for June, which in theory should be any time now. Including simple shelter building was quite an interesting one that I spotted. I've just realised you've got to get down the waterfall if you go this way, haven't you? Simple shelter building was a good one. Oh, blimey folks, this is really, really loud in my ears. Simple shelter building was I'm gonna have to take one of the earpieces out. Simple shelter building was a yeah, I've got to go around here, haven't I? Simple shelter building was one that popped up and caught my attention. That's quite cool, because that is something that in real life you would want to do in a survival situation. You'd want to look towards building a simple shelter, so yourself from materials that are around you rather than having to rely on pre-existing structures. So that's quite a cool one. Some of the changes to other, I'm just trying to remember. Got there's some extra challenge modes that were mentioned, so that'd be quite cool. Just keep coming down here. I'm freaking out a little bit because I can hear noises knocking around outside, as in actually where I'm sitting. And I've only got one earpiece in, so I'm not going to be able to hear anything that approaches me in the Long Dark either, so freaking out a little bit at the moment. Okay, yeah, so there's going to be a couple more challenge modes. There's one I noticed it was called Whiteout, which presumably is going to be a bit of an entertaining navigational challenge. And there was another one as well, I can't remember what that one was. So there's a couple of challenge modes coming, so that'd be quite cool. And a few other kind of tweaks. There was I think they might finally be bringing in this gaining skills and knowledge from reading books kind of thing, so that would be quite cool. The books have always been described as eventually a source of knowledge, and I think it might actually finally be coming, so that would be quite good. And there were also things like skills levels and things like that, which would obviously be sort of alpha type things, but certainly seem potentially interesting. And I think there was tweaks to the weather system as well, so that's quite cool. So there's some nice little updates coming potentially in the June update for Long Dark, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. Challenge modes, I think I quite like the idea of them. I just haven't been able to play them very much. With just everything being so busy. Work is very busy and everything else going on is sort of keeping me away from here, which I suppose in many ways is a good thing, but it does mean I can't produce this content, and I quite like doing it. Okay, so we've just gone under Heartbreak Bridge, so the farmstead is just over this way. So I'm now going to come off the river and come over. And hopefully on the other side of it, we're not going to come face to face with a wolf. Or a bear. Okay, here's the orchard. Do we have a clear run to the farmstead? Yes, it looks like we do. A little bit nervous about what that was, but it's 2 deer. That's quite cool. So we have a clear run over to the farmstead. So I'm using the farmstead as a kind of staging point, so I can get myself sorted out before we head across to Timberwolf Mountain, which again I still haven't actually been to. So it's going to be an interesting one, this, because I still haven't actually been to Timberwolf Mountain. I do hope they're running away from me. Okay, all looking clear. Okay, so we're not really going to have time to set up camp for a long period of time here, but we're making pretty good progress. We're 2 days in game time, and we are in Pleasant Valley already. We've got to get to the top of Timberwolf Mountain, which is going to be a challenge. It's going to be an even bigger challenge because I don't know where I'm going. Okay, so let's head inside the farmstead. And I'm going to do a little bit of looting and see what we've got in here, and then we'll also take stock and see if we can't leave some stuff behind. Oh, I tell you what, the lighting in here has changed because this has been quite dark. Hey, we've got some cooked rabbit, that's good. Some water. Nothing else? Anything in here? Nope. Right, so anything lurking about? This is looking a tad disappointing. We have got some firewood and a tinder plug down there. Okay, anything in the cupboards? Okay, there's some peaches there, and there's a can on top as well. I'll grab that. Yeah, they've certainly rebalanced a lot of this, and I think it has been retextured in the last update as well, so things looking good.
That'll come in handy.
Certainly will. Yeah, they've definitely rebalanced distribution of loot, because there used to be quite a lot in here, and now there's hardly anything, so that's definitely been rebalanced. Anything on here? Nope. No storm lanterns lurking around, not that we need one. Peanut butter on the table. Okay, medical supplies, let's have a look. Well, we've got some antibiotics. And nothing else. Anything in this drawer? Some painkillers. That replaces the ones we had to use. More newsprint, another soda. We've obviously got some toilet water in here, which we're going to take. I'm just going to do my standard tactic. I'm just going to go through. Yes, I know. I'm just going to go through and loot absolutely everything, and then we'll sort of figure out what we're going to do. Nothing under there. We have a book. We'll take that. What's in the backpack? I am probably going to stay here for a little bit of time and get myself a stockpile, because ultimately I'm going to have to come back this way when I come back down from Timberwolf Mountain. So what I'm probably going to do is just spend a bit of time setting up sort of a supply cache, so when I come back there's some easily accessible supplies, fire starting material and things like that that we you know have access to without having to really try, because I think it's probably going to be tough up Timberwolf Mountain, so we shall try and have something ready for when we come back, so we know we've got a nice little cache of spares. Right. So, anything in the filing cabinets? There isn't normally. Newsprint. Okay, I'm not going to bother with that scrap metal because obviously we haven't really got time to do anything with it. An emergency stim, that's quite useful. That's a new thing that came in the last update. Emergency steroid injection. Provide a short burst of energy and then you'll collapse, so it's a last resort item, but might come in handy, so we'll take it. I'm going to leave those, they're no good to me. Book, magnifying lens, another book. Be pretty cool when these are a source of knowledge, because there's plenty of them in here. I am very, very encumbered now, so I think I'm probably going to do a little bit of ditching of stuff before I head upstairs. pretty much looted everything down here. We are now pretty heavy, so I'm just gonna, let's do a little bit of ditching before we go any further. So, still not quite got the hang of that. Right, okay, so what do we need? Well, let's convert this into some tinder plugs. And we'll do the next one. I'm actually pretty happy with this. We're pretty much exactly 2 days in. We're already here, so we've made it across Mystery Lake. We've made it here. This is probably the only location we'll actually come back to. Because when we come back down Timberwolf Mountain, we are going to have to come this way. Because obviously we need to get to Desolation Point. To do that, we need to get across the coastal highway. So quite a bit potentially going on. Okay, I'm going to drop all of these books. And I'm going to drop all of this firewood that I'm carrying. And I'm going to drop a big chunk of these tinder plugs as well. So it's quite a lot of fire starting material just there. Still not quite got the hang of this thing. Right, is there anything here that we don't need? Well, let's drop one of those. Let's drop one of those. Let's drop one of those. I'm going to get these 2 knives maintained. Let's do that. Let's sharpen these 2 knives up to 100%, and then I can drop whetstone. Or as close to 100% as I can be bothered to take them. Should do it. There, close enough, and let's do the other one. Yes, we need to get you very tired because of the new sleeping system. Okay, so I think this video is pretty much just going to be me preparing to head up Timberwolf Mountain, so it's all about preparation today. Just getting ourselves prepared to get up Timberwolf Mountain into the Great Unknown. Still haven't been up there. I've got a vague idea how to get to it, but okay, that's good enough, and that means we can then drop that, so we don't need to carry that around. Let's refuel my lantern. It's doing pretty good for fuel anyway, and then that means I can whoops, I come up against the wall. Still keep pressing the wrong button. It's a difficult habit to get out of. Okay. I'm going to drop 2 of those fishing hooks simply because I don't think we're going to have time for fishing. Plus, I don't think we really need to because we've got quite a bit of food. So I don't think we need to worry too much about that. I've got quite a lot of beef jerky there that's in good condition, so. Right. Okay, so I've just offloaded a bit of stuff. So let's just head up. And we'll just do some looting. Whoops. Wrong button. Might as well just use my lantern a little bit. So I can loot up here very quickly. It's mainly clothes that I'm sort of more interested in finding, to be honest, because clothes we're wearing are not brilliant. Obviously we are heading up Timberwolf Mountain, so we could just do with some better clothing to do that. Normally, again, you prepare yourself, get yourself ready, collect loads of supplies, get yourself decent clothing and stuff like that, then you go for it. But obviously we've got this time restriction, so we can't do that. We just need to get ourselves up there, so carry as many medical supplies, I think, as we can. I am kind of preparing for a bit of a nightmare up there, because I don't know what to expect.
I could barely walk with this much gear.
Yeah, alright, alright. We'll sort it. Stop your whinging. Okay, let's have a look. Plastic container. Is there anything else around? What we got here? A mariner's pea coat. That's definitely better, I think, than what I've got at the moment. We'll sort that out in a second. Quick look through these drawers. Basic wool scarf is better than no scarf at all. some basic boots. I will hang on to those because I'm not sure what boots I've got at the minute, so they might be slightly better. I think we haven't been in over here, have we? Okay.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
New thermal underwear, that's pretty good. Is that a new item? I don't recall seeing that before. Another book. Okay, so I think we've pretty much looted up here, so let's make our way back downstairs. Hopefully I can get away without using this now, yeah. It is getting dark, so we probably will come back. In fact, it is getting very dark. We've only got 1 hour of daylight left. Okay, change plan. Let's head upstairs. And we'll do our normal kind of food stuff and everything else. And sleep through the night through to tomorrow morning. So we are tired, we're parched, we're ravenous. So let's. I'm going to risk the mouldy peanut butter. Yeah, we're good. And we've got some herbal tea here somewhere, which is supposed to help with more restful sleep. So I'm going to go ahead with that. And we'll drink some actual water as well. Okay, so let's sleep for. I'm going to program 8 hours in and we'll see what happens. So obviously with this new sleep system, once you're fully rested you wake up. Okay, we've got 4 hours of darkness left, we're fully rested. Oh, in fact we might actually have gone through our 8 hours, so if I just pass time for an hour, kind of hoping I can then sleep for 3 hours. And it will let me do that. And then we'll be through to daylight fully rested. Not quite. Okay, well, let's just pass time for an hour just so we're back into daylight. We are dehydrated, condition dropped a tiny bit, but don't worry too much about that. Let's get ourselves sorted out then, so we just want to eat. Eat again. Drink. Risk of intestinal parasites has passed. Oh, okay, so it does pass eventually. So if we now can go ahead and eat these 2 pieces of wolf meat in theory, and it won't compound that issue. That's good. Okay, let me bring on my storm lantern so I can see what I'm doing. And now we're going to head downstairs. What I'm going to do, I'm going to sort through all of my stuff. And then we'll call this video a day, and then we'll... Okay, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put stuff in the cupboard, rather than leaving it lying around on the floor, so that I can find it again. I know where it is. Actually, before I do that, let me just extinguish the storm lantern. Right, so things we don't want to carry around with us, let's leave in this here cupboard. So, one of those accelerants we don't really need. We don't need 2 magnifying glasses. We don't need 3 sewing kits. We don't need 2 rifle cleaning kits. Matches. Okay, we'll hang on to both of those 2 boxes. Food I'll put in the fridge. Right, clothing. Right, we'll get rid of that. Okay, I'm going to swap thermal underwear, so we'll get rid of that one. Socks I'm wearing at the moment are in good condition, so we'll get rid of all the other socks that I've got. I'm wearing a decent down jacket at the moment. Mariner's pea coat is quite worn, so we might be able to repair that. Better pair of gloves, so we'll ditch those. What boots am I wearing? I'm wearing insulated boots. All the basic boots. Okay, let's just come back out of here and okay, so Mariner's pea coat gives us a slight improvement. Do I actually have some cloth in my inventory? I do. Let's see if we can do a little bit of repair on this. There we go. So a little bit of repair on that. Let's wear those. Let's wear those. And we'll get rid of the other stuff that we have. We're travelling light in this particular game. We really are having to travel very, very light. Okay, let's ditch some of these water purification tablets. We don't need all of those, and we don't need quite so many painkillers. Let's transfer those out. We don't need quite so many antibiotics either, so let's transfer those out. We don't need 9 bandages, so let's get rid of a few of those. That gets our weight down a bit. Okay, so books. I'll tell you what, we'll keep those books that we have now. Let's get rid of that. Let's keep that. We'll keep that. And we will take some firewood with us now. Food I'm going to leave behind somewhere else. Right, okay, so I'm going to need to take some firewood with me. No, I don't want tinder plugs, it's the firewood I want. The rest of it I'm going to leave there. Right, food. I'll leave myself a little food cache. So I'm going to leave the meat. And I'm going to leave anything that is above. Okay, I do need to take a decent amount with me, but okay, I'll take. Tricky. Let's ditch all the canned stuff. We'll take this lighter packeted stuff, I think. And I think we're going to have to ditch some water because I just haven't got the carrying capacity to carry all of it. I'm still a kilo over. Let's see if we can. I'm gonna have to ditch my spare knife. I'm still carrying that whetstone. I don't need that. And I think I'm gonna have to ditch my spare knife. And then hopefully we can eat and drink our way out of that problem. Okay, so we are pretty much ready to go for our assault up Timberwolf Mountain. I am going to do my normal build a fire, make coffee, take a brand trick, so I'm going to do that. Maybe should have used some accelerant there just to make sure it definitely worked. Well, that's
That
just...
didn't work.
Well, thank you for stating the obvious, yeah. Well done. Okay, let's try that again. Books are usually pretty good at getting fires started, but today it just doesn't seem to want to work. I'll tell you what, folks, very, very opposite to the Long Dark. It's so hot here at the moment. Hot, humid, and not very pleasant. Long Dark, it's free. I'd much rather be in the Long Dark at the minute than I would be actually where I am. Excellent, so we've got that burning, so let's just chuck some cedar firewood onto it. And we shall go ahead and make coffee. And we shall go ahead and take a brand. Obviously a brand is not as good as a torch. Used to be. You can obviously make torches. But let's drink this coffee. So that obviously gives us a bonus. And a warmth bonus. So we are good to go. So what I'm going to say is we'll call this video a day. And in the next one, we are going to make our way to Timberwolf Mountain. So, thank you very much for watching. and I shall see you again very, very soon for some more Long Dark.